Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at the ArmsTech hammer. And before we get this video started, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Crate Tactical. Crate Tactical makes a wide variety of products, but most interesting to me at least is their very affordable out the front knives. Here in Pennsylvania, out the fronts just became legal to carry every day, finally. And it's really cool to see an option that's out there that is not $400 and actually comes with tools to allow you to disassemble it, tinker around in the knife or whatever. And they also have a variety of steel targets that are like wildly inexpensive. You set them on a fence post. I think the one that I have, the really tiny one, is about 45 bucks. So it's really tough to beat. It allows you an affordable option to get to the range and have some steel. They're actually also offering you guys a discount code. It's just going to be Freedom10. You can click that link down in the description. I seriously appreciate their support. What an interesting little gun. This is going to be another one of those videos where I am calling upon you guys, the viewers of my channel, down in the comment section. And the reason being is because I have been able to find all of nothing when it comes to information about this shotgun. What a weird gun. So a lot of people, I posted this on Reddit and everyone's like, oh, what kit did you get? Where did you send it to get the work done? What's going on? What's the name of the gunsmith? Blah, blah. And none of those things actually happened when it came to purchasing this shotgun. This shotgun has actually been made by a manufacturer at around 2013. I was able to pick it up at a very good deal, a deal I could not pass up. And that manufacturer was ArmsTech LTD. Now, ArmsTech LTD, from everything that I can see, no longer exists. I have been able to find nothing about why they came out with this shotgun, anything really, other than the manufacturer's model designation, which is hammer. And that is it. That's what's on the Form 4. And the interesting thing about this is it is a 7-inch barrel super shorty shotgun, if you will. Now, a lot of you guys out there are going to be familiar with the Serbu super shorties. That was an AOW, so it was an AOW or any other weapon NFA category, and it did not have a stock on it of any type. Now, you could Form 1 those AOWs into SBSs, but ArmsTech LTD thought in all of their wisdom back in 2013 that they wanted to come out with a Form 4 factory SBS of that Serbu Super Shorty, essentially. So they took a Remington 870 action, an 870 Magnum action. They lopped the barrel off to about 7 inches, gave you a mag tube with a capacity of 2 rounds, and instead of having that very awesome, very good Serbu Super Shorty pump here and the handle on the pump, which was a very nice steel handle, they went with a garbage plastic handle that feels like it's about to break off whenever you are shooting it. So that is, of course, not the most ideal thing. Now, it also has a side folding stock. And I am not entirely sure if this is the stock that came with the gun from the manufacturer. I have absolutely no idea. This could not have been the one, but I wasn't really able to find any literature, so I'm not entirely sure. I believe this is a Choate side-folding 870 stock from back in the day, but I have not really a lot of information about that. The stock is subpar. In fact, I would not recommend it in any way, shape, or form, especially on a shotgun like this. The rubber grip here has a ton of movement. It bends and bows when you are shooting, and the actual stock itself, again, has a ton of movement. This thing is all sorts of rickety on the back there. but it is side folding, and when it's in its folded configuration, it is the exact same size as a Serbu Super Shorty. Of course, obviously, as I have mentioned, this is an NFA item. It is a $200 tax stamp Form 4 SBS. Now, I do believe you could send your standard 870 out to a gunsmith, and with a little bit of fabricating, you could probably pay to have this done if you really wanted to. We are going to get into my overall thoughts about this shotgun, but I had a very fun first range day with this thing. Now, when I first saw this, I just immediately jumped to completely impractical, right? Why would you ever want to use this for anything other than breaching a door? That's kind of what these are designed for. And then I started kind of playing around with it and using it, and it was pretty freaking maneuverable at the range, being that there's only a 7-inch barrel. Reloading, ironically, was incredibly fast as I started to get used to it, because you can kind of just keep the shotgun pointed down range and feed 2 in from the bottom quick, and you're only reloading 2, so at the very maximum 3. And in that case scenario, it's actually relatively quick to reload. And with the stock folded, this thing fits perfectly in my backpack with like a ton of room to spare. It can fit 3-inch Magnum shotgun shells in here. Not sure that you would want to put those through this gun. That's a little bit much. I can tell you guys that the flames you were seeing out of this shotgun was a low recoil bird shot, so just keep that in mind, especially when you start looking at 12 gauge buckshot. But I also did run mini shells through this thing. Now with mini shells, you could fit 3 in the magazine tube plus 1 in the chamber, 4 total, which is a very, very usable package in this small of a size. But unfortunately, the mini shells, they will run semi-okay. The birdshot mini shells actually ran fine. There was one short stroke that had an issue. The slug mini shells did not run whatsoever. They had some serious issues. My guess is because they were a little bit more front heavy and it was causing the cartridge to want to flip around inside the chamber. And in my experience with mini shells and an 870, you have to be in this perfect setup straight up and down in order to get that thing to run reliably. I would absolutely say they are not going to be okay for a defensive use. It's just, there's too many variables that can happen. But if you really wanted to, you could fit 4 total mini shells in this thing and still have a viable self-defense option for very, very close range. Let's talk about the psychological warfare here from the shotgun, because the absolute concussive blast out of this thing was unbelievable. You guys will probably see with the thumbnail just the flame that was coming out the end. Each round was like a flashbang, just sending it down range. I have no idea what these guns bring on the side market because, again, there's really no information about them. Now, when it comes to the Serbu Super Shorties, those are now bringing a lot of money. So I have no idea if this would bring more, less. Who knows? It's kind of just an oddball gun. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, well, this is cool. Can't you take the stock off and just have it as a Super Shorty? Unfortunately, as stupid as it is, you would actually have to file a Form 1 in order to do that. With the stock off, this would no longer be an SBS. It would then be an AOW, requiring further stamping. Now, I do like the ability to fold the stock in this case, and that's the reason why I kept this stock on here, because really, I have a Super Shorty if I want it, or I have an SBS by folding the stock out. So it is giving you a bunch of different options. Now, let's talk about the quality of this shotgun. It is abysmal. It's terrible, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. So you won't be able to probably tell, but there's a big ding on the crown. It's a 7-inch barrel shotgun, so who really cares? But also the barrel is cut lopsided, almost like somebody used like a crappy hacksaw and just kind of rounded the edge slightly. So completely off-centered. And then the plastic grip. I cannot think of a worse design idea than to have a plastic grip that could break on a 7-inch barrel shotgun. A lot of tactical commandos on Reddit were telling, oh, you were pretty slow on the reload reaction with this thing. But when it comes down to it, you guys will notice I'm very methodical, controlled, and slow with shooting this gun. And there's a main reason for that, and that is because you don't want to shoot this thing fast and have that break out in front and you're going fast trying to be super cool and John Wick about it and blow your hand off, because that absolutely could happen with this shotgun and a crappy little plastic grip underneath. In fact, a lot of the time at the range, I was also shooting it in this configuration. Now, with this, some people might say, well, that's way more dangerous. Your hand could slip. That's very true, but I also can hold my hand further back on the shotgun away from the edge. And again, if I am controlled and slow with it, it's not that much of an issue, as out here makes me very, very nervous to do any sort of a push-pull method, because you're right out on top there. So this does fold down and you can rack the action with it folded. This is also 2013 Remington. So this is when stuff was getting really dicey for Remington, and I think this was one of those options. When I take out the trigger pack, it's like weirdly tight and will not go back in, almost as if the receiver is crimped in, and the QC there is interesting. It has the Remington rust when you look at it finish. It was pouring rain during this range day with this gun, and within a matter of 5 hours, I went back into my filming area, grabbed the gun out of the bag, and it was completely rusted over all over the gun. So definitely not a great finish on this thing, and it may be getting Cerakoted in the future, because if you just touch it and leave it, it's probably going to rust on you. The stock itself, again, we talked about the quality there. It's really not great, but again, because of the wildly low price point that I got this thing at, you can't really beat it. You can't really turn away from it, and I have that infatuation with shotguns, so I just couldn't pass it up. Guys, if you have any other information about this particular shotgun, please put it down below in the comment section. I would love to hear more, learn more, especially if one of you guys out there has one of these guns or has information about the company. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, stay tuned for more great content coming soon.